It's time to predict the Champions League quarter-final second legs. Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video. Today, as I say, we are predicting the second leg of the Champions League quarter-finals. And the first legs were so good. Every single team in the competition scored in the quarter-finals. And there's so much to play for as we go into the second legs. As always, make sure to share your predictions down in the comments. Make sure to go for 1,000 likes as well. It's free to click the like button, so make sure to do it now. It's free. Go on, make sure to do it. We went for 999 on the last video and we didn't do it, so we'll go for 1,000 on this one, and we better do it. Hit the like button. The final thing to do is make sure you are subscribed. It's free to do once again, and we're pushing for 63,000 subscribers, so hit the subscribe button down below and let's get into the predictions for the Champions League quarterfinals second legs. We start at the Nou Camp for Barcelona versus PSG, and Barcelona have a 3-2 advantage after that crazy game back in Paris. I predicted PSG to just win that game. I did think they'd edge it 2-1, but fair play to Barcelona. They did really well, and I think they did deserve the win, to be honest. It was quite a close game, really. Either team could have won it, but Barcelona just were more ruthless. Rafinha got himself 2 goals, and Christensen popped up with the 3rd goal for Barcelona. For PSG, it was Dembele and Vitinha who got the goals, and PSG know that they come here chasing the game. Obviously, they don't have the away goal rule in the Champions League anymore, so I mean, it'd feel like Barcelona have got a very strong advantage if we were to go off that, but we're not. So if PSG can just win 1-0, it will take it to extra time and possibly penalties. And despite Barcelona having the advantage, I still think PSG have a chance of getting through. But I'm going to go with Barcelona to get through. I'm going to predict a 2-2 draw for this game. I think there'll be loads more goals again. PSG are going to have to come out chasing. I think they'll get themselves a couple goals, but they will leave themselves open to the Barcelona counter-attack. And therefore, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, which would mean that Barcelona go through 5-4 winners overall and advanced as the first team to the Champions League semi-finals. Share your thoughts on Barcelona versus PSG. Next up then, and we head to Borussia Dortmund versus Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid did win the home game 2-1, which keeps this one in the balance now, as Atletico Madrid are now the away team. De Paul and Diaz-Lino with the goals for Atletico. Haller pulled one back for Borussia Dortmund in the final 10 minutes. And that goal could be crucial. At 2-0, you feel like Atletico Madrid have got 1 foot in the semi-finals. But at 2-1, I think Borussia Dortmund have a chance here. And with the home advantage now, do you know what? I think they could do it, or at least take it to extra time and penalties, and then who knows? I do think if it goes all the way to penalties, you've got to make Borussia Dortmund the favourites. They'll have the home crowd behind them. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it to go all the way. Borussia Dortmund 2, Atletico Madrid 1, Borussia Dortmund on penalties. Yep, I'm going for a 3-3 draw on aggregate, but Borussia Dortmund to win on a penalty shootout. I think once again, it's a very close matchup. If Atletico Madrid can score first, it might completely ruin things here for Dortmund. I do feel like they've got to get the first goal, and I think it'll be close, but I do think they'll do it. Both teams are competing in similar ways in their respective divisions. Atletico fighting in the top 4 in La Liga, Borussia Dortmund fighting in the top 4 in the Bundesliga. I'm going to go for another close game, but Borussia Dortmund have just impressed me that little bit more out of these two in the Champions League this season. So I think they're capable of getting through. Share your predictions down below. So then on to the next one, where it is Bayern Munich versus Arsenal. What a game this one was. Arsenal obviously took the lead through Saka. Then the former Arsenal player Serge Gnabry popped up with a goal. Then of course it had to be Harry Kane to score for Bayern from the penalty spot. And then Trossard did pull one back for Arsenal to make it 2-2. And all to play for going into this second leg. It was a great game, and fair play to Bayern Munich. I did back Arsenal to win 2-1. But as I say, fair play to Bayern Munich. They got a 2-2 draw. They nearly won. And they've got a good chance here. When you look at the bookmakers' odds, both teams have got a similar chance of getting through here with them. Arsenal, for me, are the better team. We've seen that in the respective divisions this season. Arsenal are fighting very well in the Premier League, whereas with Bayern Munich, they're so far behind Bayer Leverkusen this season. But you do feel like Bayern Munich might focus on the Champions League, whereas Arsenal's focus might be split across the two competitions. And a question to the Arsenal fans watching, actually, which would you rather win, the Premier League or the Champions League? I would say you've got a better chance of doing the Premier League, but I still think you've got a good chance of doing both. With the Champions League, though, that would be so special for Arsenal, as it's a competition they haven't won. But even if they do get past Bayern Munich here, they know that they've got a very tricky game waiting for them in the semi-finals, which will either be Manchester City or Real Madrid. So, my prediction for this one, I think if it's low scoring, that will suit Arsenal. We've seen them play some good defensive football, some good defensive games when we saw them go away to Manchester City this season, when they went away to Liverpool as well in the Premier League. They've shown that if they can keep the score down, they can get something, a draw, possibly a win. And do you know what? I'm going to back Arsenal to squeeze through. I think if Bayern Munich go all out for it, that will give them a good chance if they can try and outscore Arsenal at home. But I reckon Arsenal are going to do it. They've been so strong this season. As I say, this could go either way, but I'm going to go Bayern Munich 1, Arsenal 2. Yes, you can call me biased for being English. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I would love to see Arsenal get through. So I'll go Bayern 1, Arsenal 2. Not just necessarily because it's what I want to happen, but I think it could happen. I'm making Arsenal slight favourites, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bayern Munich got through either. Share your thoughts on that game. I'm going for Arsenal 2-1, 4-3 on aggregate. And finally then, I suppose you could say, save the best till last, is Manchester City versus Real Madrid. Wow, the two powerhouses. Manchester City have dominated the Premier League for the last few seasons. They are the current holders of the Champions League versus Real Madrid, who lead La Liga, and they served up such a good game at the Bernabeu. It went back and forth. Bernardo Silva scored a goal early on from the free kick. Real Madrid then pulled themselves back in front 2-1. There was then some wonderful goals from Foden and Gvardiol to give Manchester City a 3-2 lead, and then Valverde pulled one back right at the end for Real Madrid to make it 3-3. And honestly, it doesn't make things any more clear. It just shows how good both of these sides are. What I would say though is, with the bookmakers and myself in particular, Real Madrid had to get some advantage from the home game. It was important not to lose it, especially when they were losing it twice. But now that it's a draw, going back to the Etihad, I just think Man City will do it. Once again, I wouldn't be surprised if Real Madrid can find themselves getting through here, but I'll go for Man City. The thing is with Man City, I could still see them winning the Champions League and the Premier League, but there's a chance they might not win the Premier League, so they've got to keep going in the Champions League. I'll go for another entertaining game because there's really not a lot between them, but I'm going for Man City. Man City 3, Real Madrid 2. I just think the citizens will get through to the Champions League semi-finals. So Manchester City 3, Real Madrid 2, 6-5 on aggregate, and that would mean my semi-final lineup would be Barcelona versus Borussia Dortmund and Arsenal versus Manchester City. To be honest, as I say, I wouldn't be surprised if all of my predictions go the other way, because there's still so much to play for. All of these games practically hang in the balance. But share your predictions. Let's see if your predictions are better than mine down in the comments. That wraps up the Champions League predictions for another week, guys. We will be back when we get to the semi-finals. We've also got Europa League predictions coming in a day or two, so make sure to look out for that. Make sure to drop a like. We're going for 1,000 likes. It's free to do, so click the like button, and make sure to subscribe so you see all of our videos when they go out. We will see you in the next video. Take care. Peace out.